This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Yo, what up, Mike? Yo, let me go on the record here to start the show.
We start with shots fired. We just start the show with shots fired. Nico in the chat saying he canceled Flow after last week's show. You know what? I did too, Nico. I canceled 2 weeks ago. My subscription's up in, I think, October, November. They got me for the full year subscription, but I am officially a member of Bowl TV. I encourage others to support bowling streaming in some way, shape, or form. Flow, obviously. I mean, I think the handwriting's on the wall there. We've talked about it ad nauseum. But, you know, we start off shots fired by Nico Puhar in the chat. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I'll join Bold TV for sure. I'll probably grab that subscription before the PWBA this weekend. I know they're starting on Rockford, Illinois, but we'll talk a little bit about that and some PWB action. But I wanted to start off going on the record to say, yo, bowling is hard. And I kind of been struggling a little bit with my own game. Physically,
I know that's right. I know that's right. With the scores I put out here publicly every week for the last 36 weeks. But go ahead.
Bowling's hard, man. Like I've been practicing mainly in bowling, on everything sport, right? I haven't seen a house shot in a while.
Got to.
And dude, I'm really, really like physically, I don't feel great. And last week I went to the bowling center, practiced a little bit on the house shot, and struck for a year, Mike. A year. And I felt terrible throwing the ball down the lane. And then when I go to like the performance like center on string pins and on the shot, and then I go to these complete bowling events in Arizona here, and they're putting out 44 feet. And man, like it's such a different plan. And I know we always stress and we always talk about it. And I know we're getting a lot of emails in regards to it. But people, I want to stress this, and I'll let Mike talk about his final week in his league review. I want to stress this. If you consider yourself a bowler and a true bowler, and you're not bowling at least one sport shot at least a month, or practicing on a sport shot at least once a month, then you're really not bowling the sport the way it's meant to be played, honestly. The more I bowl on sport and challenging shots, and the more I see house shots, the more I realize how two different aspects of the game it really is, and how the house and the easy shot bowling is, and I know you like to use this word a lot, and I'll completely agree, fraudulent.
Say it, son.
Fraudulent.
Say it, son. Say the word, son, because that's what it is.
Bowling on the house shot compared to bowling on a sport, any sport, I don't care what it is just fraud. It's not real bowling. I'll go out and say it. And the more I came back into the sport, and the more I practice and bowl tournaments on sport, and then I go to a house shot, it realizes just how completely different of a playing field bowling on the house compared to bowling on sport. So we're getting deep into it quick, Mike, but
I'm going to come back to you in a second. I'm coming back to you in a second on that. Hold that thought. Somebody has a question for you, Rob. Don Rickard in the chat. Rob, what time are you bowling in Las Vegas? The people want to know.
Memorial Day weekend. I bowl Sunday of that Memorial Day weekend. I think our team bowls at 10 a.m. team, and singles and doubles we bowl at actually I got it confused. Sorry. Team event Sunday we bowl 2:30 team event, I believe, and Monday we bowl 10 a.m. or 11:30 a.m. singles and doubles.
So you know what it is. Go find the kid, say what up, sweep the rack, give him a shout. Nico wants to know, Mike, have you convinced the wife to let you go to Vegas for the tat. No, I'm out. I'm out. I can't do it. In fact, I made plans with Bill to head up to the Mountain House while you guys are going to be bowling the tat finals like July 1st, 2nd, 3rd. I'm going to be up at the Mountain House. So I'm out on the tat this year. I can't do it. I'm honestly, I'm leaking money left and right, people. I'm leaking money left and right over here. Okay. I'm not even going to talk about it. Charlie Tap, what up? Saying what's up to the guys. Yo, good bowling out
good
there,
out
bro.
the PBA 50,
yeah,
man.
we're following out there. Yo, and listen, I want you to reach out. Text me. We talk through text. Text me because Sweep the Rack, I want sponsorship of Charlie Tap. So reach out to me. I want to know how we could possibly make that happen. Rob, hold on. Wait. One or two more comments here I wanted to bring up. Anthony Battaglia, what's good? He says Hal's looking really nice. Yeah, it is. The training, Parker Bones Training Center at Hal Lanes, Rob, is looking super sweet, bro. Like, I was there on Saturday. I wasn't supposed to be peeking behind the curtain, but you know me. I had to peek behind the curtain. So it looks phenomenal. I can't wait. I can't wait to get in there, as a matter of fact. Like, I've told them numerous times, listen, like, when this is ready, text me when you're ready for, like, a real paying customer, that you want a real review from, like an honest review that I won't put online, that I won't, release publicly, but I would be more than willing to pay and sit down afterwards and let them know, like, yeah, this is what I thought about the experience. But I mean, from the looks of it, oh my goodness, new machines, new lanes, new specto, new scoring. I mean, new approaches, everything, brand new, everything. I mean, I'm super excited to get over there.
Mike, our fans never forget when, man, you just run over someone's front lawn one time and then nobody forgets.
I know. I feel you. So, Rob, I want to go back to your comment before about the bowling being hard. And
Hey Fernandez, what up, man? Hope all is well, bro.
I asked this question to a serious golfer who bowls on sport, bowls on house. And I asked him, I said, we were talking about the difference that you were just talking about how much easier house is than sport and how the sport side is really like the real sport of bowling and the house is not. And I asked him, I said, what changes would they have to make to golf to make it as easy as house bowling is to sport bowling? Thoughts on that? Like we started. Okay. Go there. Yes.
All right,
yes.
Let's go. So if you were to hit the ball out of bounds or slice it right or left, the ball would have there'd be walls, right? And
yeah.
so the ball hit the wall.
Like a metal chute.
Yes.
Is what we talked about. Okay. So, imagine like a giant opening at the front, right? Where no matter where you hit it, it's going into this chute. And then it goes into the chute, right?
Yeah.
And as long as you get it into that chute, it then goes to the green. And we also said that the hole would be as big as the green. The hole would be as big as the green. Oh, okay, a funnel. All right, that's interesting.
So you hit on the green, and then
every green would slope down towards the hole.
Something like that.
Right? All right. Okay.
So,
Bowling with the Fef is saying cup 10 foot. 10 foot. Fef, do you know how easy these house shots are out here, son? 10-foot diameter. Fef, not only would the hole need to be as big as the green, you would need the funnel to make sure that the ball goes to said hole. Okay? I mean, goodness gracious. Guys, they're easy out here, guys.
Dude, I'm thinking like a wall, right? Like two walls. And you hit the ball against the wall, like bumper bowling, right? But it would be for golf, right? Because there's no out of bounds in a league shot, right? So you'd have to have no out of bounds on a golf hole, right?
Right.
So you'd literally have no rough. It would be fairway. The whole course would be fairway.
Right.
There would be no water and no bunkers.
Right.
Straight, it would be flat, and then the green would be really, really large and maybe not as exaggerated as a funnel, but definitely the green would be flat and the hole would probably be in the middle of the green.
Yeah, I think the
No
hole would be the
trees.
size of the green. Like
No
it's kind of
trees.
just wind
Yeah, I
up
like
and hit
that.
it as hard as you can. Wind
No
up and hit it
trees.
as hard as you can. Like just
Right.
get it to the green in 2 shots, 1 shot. Just get it
You,
there, and it's in the hole.
I might be able to take my putter and hit it off a tee box, and I honestly like hit it and probably make it even roll it up to the green. Like, I mean, really, what it comes down to, it would be hilarious to see people would be, and then people would be taking videos of them hitting hole-in-ones, and then they would be thanking their golf clubs. Hashtag Titleist. Hashtag TaylorMade Nation. Hashtag I'm the best. I'm the greatest. I just hit my 120th hole-in-one.
Right.
Yeah, and then they
I
would
shot
look
at
at the golfers on
18.
TV.
I shot at 18. Okay. I shot an 8. Breaking news. Someone shot an 18.
Oh, and then here's the best part is they'd be shooting 60s and 65s and then watching the pro golfers on TV and be like, he hit a 68. I'm just as good as him. I should be on tour. It would be hilarious to see.
Well, I mean, the sad part is that like this is what we've actually done with bowling. All right, nonetheless, we'll leave it there for now. But yeah, people want to hear the league review. I didn't bowl all that well last night. We had a sub and the sub bowled well. Shout to Adam for subbing, and my teammate Mike D bowled tremendously again. Shout to Mike D. He bowled tremendously. Like he probably had the best back-to-back weeks that I've ever seen him bowl in this league, and I've been watching him bowl this league for like at least 6 years. So shout to him. He bowled pretty good. I went like, oh God, the first game, I think at one point I had 70 in the 6th because I started out like split, miss spare, split. It was just disaster. And then I switched balls and moved about 22 left. And that worked a lot better. I worked a lot. I should have. You're right, Eddie. I should have used his ball.
Fans never forget, Mike.
I know. And, that's why I'm here. I'm glad I'm here to give the people the material. But
you give me a lot of material.
I switched balls. I moved like 22 left. And that looked a lot better. I almost threw the last 5 for 170, but I went ring 10 in the second one in the 10th. So I think I shot like 157 the first game, which was horrendous. And then the second game, as usual, I just let the transition get ahead of me. Didn't move left quick enough. Didn't stay with it quick enough. So like bowled okay. What did I shoot the second game? I think I shot like 180 or 190. And then the last game, I had about the same, about 180. So I was probably about 530 for the night, 540, which is, not good at all for me. I had gone back-to-back 600s. Mr. X, I believe his team finished in like third to last. It pained me that I had to go up and get our envelopes from the first half and give him an envelope with $160 in it. I'm glad it wasn't much more than $160. But I don't think Mr. X is coming back next year. I think he's done with the sport leagues. I think he's going to stick to the house. But I guess that remains to be seen. Listen, I'm going to be honest with all you folks. This was the most frustrating league season I ever had to bowl. I'm glad it's over. I texted my teammate today and told him, listen, enjoyed bowling with you, had a great time. Even though it was a frustrating league season, it was a pleasure to bowl with you. But yeah, it was a very frustrating league season for me, given all the drama and bullshit that was going on. And I'm glad that it's over. And I'm going to bowl for the summer. I got a few weeks off here. I'm still going to practice here and there over these couple weeks because I'm throwing it pretty good and I want to keep throwing it good. But I'm going to bowl during the summer, and I'm bowling the easiest and most convenient situation for me. I'm going to bowl close to my house at Nob Hill in a sport league on Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock. Good night for me. People are asking if I put the Mr. X rule in. No, we didn't discuss rules last night because people wanted to leave, get paid, and leave. So we're going to discuss them in September, but I will bring it up. You can guarantee that.
Are we moving our weekly show then? Since you have to
probably. We probably will have to switch it up for the summer. But we should take a look at like the PWBA schedule coming up, and see like when their shows are. Maybe we could set it up so that we're doing some wrap ups of their shows. We'll talk a little bit more about that tonight, actually. But yeah, listen, it was a good league season. I like bowling league. I wish it wasn't 36 weeks straight. I wish like we could find a way to do league in a different way. We're actually going to bring Greg Tack on for his tournament wrap up later on in the episode. And yeah, that's likely something that will come up with him as well tonight. But yeah, I just wish that I would like to see like a once a month travel sport league. That's what I'd like to get involved in, where you bowl 8 games, 7, 8 games once a week, once a month, maybe even twice a month, but you travel around, you draw from a bigger geographic space. More guys are going to be interested, so we'll see where it goes. But that's a wrap on the league season. I think we were like third to last in the first half, and then we finished in third for the second half. We swept last night. We needed to win 2 games in totals, I think, to secure third, and we did a little bit more than that. So yeah, we finished the season pretty strong, especially like we bowled some weeks with the blind and stuff like that. But yeah, I did not have a good season myself, but I am throwing it pretty good right now. I'm hoping to build on that. This was my first sports season back since COVID. So I'm going to write off, some of it to that as an excuse, I guess you could say. But that's it. It's a wrap on the league. But Rob, here's what I'm thinking for the summer. I'm going to videotape a lot of my matches for the summer, and we're gonna use it for content on the show.
I told you, I don't want to see you bowling. I wanted you to interview these people that you bowl with.
I will. I absolutely will. I'm definitely gonna try and provide some content through the league this summer.
Yeah, what'd you end up average wise?
I don't even know. I'll find out. I'll email our league secretary. I'll find out.
What do you think? Like, what is your feeling?
185. Maybe even a little lower, 182, something like that. I think it kind of is, to be honest with you.
Honestly,
if I'm not 190, that's pretty bad. I feel like I should be 195, closer to 200.
It's not terrible.
Rob, there were weeks where I missed 70 pins worth of makeable spares. That's 20 pins. That's 20 pins on your average for that week. So I look at it.
At least you know what you need to work on.
Totally clear what I need to work on, So it's frustrating. So
yeah. Okay. Well, good job, Meg. Even lasting 36 weeks is probably about 34 weeks more than I would have lasted.
Wild.
Anyway, we'll appreciate the league wrap up. Let's get to PBA action.
Let's get to the real bowling. Enough of my nonsense. Let's get to the real bowling. Rob, man. PBA Playoff semifinal took place this weekend on Sunday, on Mother's Day. I wasn't able to watch it live because I was able to watch the first game of the first match live because I was going to Philly for Mother's Day, had some Mother's Day plans. I did bet on both matches. Talk about that in a minute. Couldn't watch it, came home, watched it right after I got home, stayed off social media, had some texting going back and forth because of the bets. So I did know who won, but I didn't know really the circumstances under which they won. Didn't see any shot highlights or anything of that nature. So I have a lot of observations on this show. You want me to start out with something here, Rob?
Yeah, let's go. Do it.
It was kind of shocking to me to see such a high caliber of bowlers in such an important event on such a lane condition. And I know it was in a different house and, things happen on the lanes, obviously. I know that. So I'm going to say that it was just shocking to see such low scoring on this show. I expected the scores on this show to be through the roof. Okay. And they weren't. Now, part of it to me was that, and I think I'm right about this, that the second match was bowled on the burn. That the Jones-Johnson match.
I don't know.
It was, Rob, I'm pretty sure, because Tom Clark tweeted out a picture of the lanes afterwards and said, this is the result of two matches being bowled. Okay.
Okay.
So it was just really shocking to me to see such a low scoring environment in this particular event with the caliber of bowler, with what was on the line. With that said, in the first match, I mean, Prather, like, where's that come from?
Yeah, he didn't bowl well.
I
at
mean,
all.
he's normally like
Lights
shot
out.
maker. Shot maker of the highest degree. Okay.
Yep.
And Rob, I mean, he missed the head pin 4 times on the right lane.
Yeah. He was nervous, I think.
No.
I mean, you don't think so?
No. Come on. Really? Chris Prather nervous in that situation? Rob, he's won 2 or 3 tournaments for $100,000. Major champion.
Let me ask you.
Like, won the PBA playoffs before.
So then do you think it's because they tried to play him like they did at Kegel and they weren't close to what they were trying to play like in Kegel? Because I think those balls would have hooked back at Kegel.
If I had the answer to why, I'd be a much better bowler myself. I don't know what the why is, but what I saw is that his ball reaction required extreme levels of accuracy down the lane. Extreme level. I mean, it seemed like if he got the ball just slightly right of where he wanted to, it was just going to keep going right. There was like a cliff on that lane. To
Jim,
some degree.
I disagree, and I feel like it wasn't the wrong ball in his hand, and I feel like that's the first thing people want to blame. I think Nico had more of it was poor execution, honestly. Like you don't miss the head pin like that and blame the ball reaction, honestly. It was surprising for sure.
Scott in the chat saying that the second match the whole playoffs has been on the burn. Scott, I knew, first of all, they presented the previous matches a little bit differently. They presented them as like almost separate shows. So it was a little bit harder to tell. I knew that it was bowled on the burn because, I was following players and asking them about their experience out there. It was just surprising to me that you get to this semifinal. You would think that I don't know. If I'm a player, I'd rather bowl the match on fresh. I guess it was because of time constraints, but
Prather,
I don't
how
think
much of a disadvantage was it for Prather to bowl not on the burn? Prather would have had a lot better of a shot on the burn.
Do you think so though? Because I felt like the way they developed didn't fit what he was trying to do. If he would have done the same thing, if he would have played him the same way, even on the burn, I don't know. I don't think it would have been there either. I think he would have had to do something somewhat different than what his game plan was out there. But I mean, listen, honestly, it was shocking to see him throw those shots. It really was. He got 2 of the craziest breaks you will ever see on a PBA show. Okay, where he tripped the 1-2-4, all right, and then he tripped the 3-6-9. 3-6-9. It wasn't the 3-6-9-10. The 10 wasn't there. It was just the 3-6-9.
But let me ask you something though. Okay, look, regardless if you don't think the burn or not, if I'm going to bet on somebody bowling on a burn rather than the fresh, I would take Prather all day on the burn over Kyle. Just on the way they throw the ball. Prather is better at standing left on the burn and just softening his hand and getting it to the right. Kyle has a tendency on the burn to his ball uses up a lot of energy quicker because Kyle's roll is a little bit more end over end. So I would take Prather any day of the week on the fresh over. If they're bowling a 1-game match. Generally,
I agree with you. The only way I would counter here is because of the way they specifically looked in this house on this pattern for Prather in this situation. That would be my only counter there. The spare shooting on this show, Rob.
It's like an epidemic, man. It's crazy.
Rob, Prather goes at one point, flag the head pin right, miss the head pin spare left.
telling you, has to be nerves though, and you don't want to blame it on nerves, but
Tommy Jones
man,
misses what, a 4-pin? AJ misses a 2-pin.
Tommy always misses a spare in the show.
Did Kyle miss a spare too? Did Kyle miss a spare as well? I can't recall.
Hey, look, like I said, in Tommy's defense, Tommy does manage to miss a spare at pretty much every show. I mean, it seems that way at least. Now I'm not saying Tommy's a bad spare shooter, but
I want to be so clear about what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that the bowling was bad on this show. I thought that what you saw, particularly in the second match, was really a battle of who could figure out the lane, the pair, and who could figure out both lanes and make a good enough shot on that particular lane to not open to a certain degree. I felt like particularly in that second match. So I'm not saying that the bowling was bad on these shows, but what I'm saying is that I was just surprised to see such a low scoring environment. Again, given the pattern, what we saw from this pattern, I know it was in a different bowling center, but also given the quality of the players that were in this semifinal, right? Because we only had 16 starting in this playoff. So you were really, you were getting quality players no matter what it came down to, right? So interesting to me. So Kyle Troop beats Prather, right? 2-0. And Troop is undefeated in this bracket, okay? He hasn't even lost a game.
Tough bracket
in this
too,
bracket. Right, I know. So that's super impressive. He beats Prather. He goes on to the final. The other match comes down to the roll off, right? And like I said, AJ, I don't think he made that bad of a shot in that situation. It looked pretty good to me. He definitely thought it was good. Okay, but open, I mean, to 2-4-8-10 on that shot was a bit much. I thought it was a huge penalty to pay on that shot, in my opinion. So he loses on that shot, and Tommy Jones advances. Okay, kind of easily.
I thought, didn't AJ go through the nose though? He didn't 2-4-8-10. I swear he went dead face.
Am I wrong? Tell us in the chat.
I'm pretty sure he went dead face.
Am I thinking about an earlier shot? I might be thinking about an earlier shot.
Because I remember he threw it really good, and the ball just kind of took off early on him.
Okay,
he went dead face.
My point about that shot still stands. I might have the details, the semantics.
Yeah, I mean, still he threw it good, and he didn't.
I felt like it was a good shot. 3, 6, 7, 10. Okay. I felt like it was a good shot where he paid a high penalty for that shot in that situation. So Tommy Jones, gets up and he kind of wraps up the other spot in the finals there easily in that roll off. So you got Tommy Jones against Kyle Troop. I mean, this is a great matchup, Rob. Like, if you're a bowling fan, you really can't ask for much more. Kyle
has to be the favorite here. Look, I know Tommy, and they always talk about being a Hall of Famer. And yes, Tommy is an amazing player in his own right. He's a Hall of Famer. He's won all these titles, right? Majors, all of it. But at this moment, at this tournament, how could you bet against Kyle Troop?
I hear you. Let me make a case.
Sure.
They're going to be bowling on the fresh. Kyle Troop used urethane on the fresh in this last show. Chances are Tommy Jones is going to be using urethane on this next show. And I would actually take Tommy Jones throwing the purple hammer over Kyle Troop throwing the pitch black.
No.
Okay.
I completely disagree with that.
Okay. I'm not saying that's my view on the match. I'm saying I'm playing devil's advocate here in terms of presenting an argument to you.
So let's talk about the final format because it's a different format. So let's
it is. It's 4 games. Okay, 4 games, race to 3. So if one player wins 3 games, the match is over. If they split 2-2, it goes 9th and 10th frame roll off.
That would be the best case scenario for at least entertainment purposes, is for them splitting 2-2 and then settling $100,000 in a title on a 9th and 10th frame roll off.
That would be pretty sick. I mean, it would be an appropriate way for this event to end too, because
It
a
would
lot
be.
of
This has
these
been a great
matches
event.
have been decided by that format, and it has been a great event. I agree with you.
It has been, and I like the format, and it's easy for people that aren't bowlers to follow the bracket. You can make your own picks. I do feel like, maybe we'll talk once the tournament's over. I feel like the PBA could have still done a better job, like marketing the bracket, maybe running some kind of contest or free giveaway for someone maybe who picks a perfect bracket. I feel like they could involve the fans more, and they could have done a little bit more promoting the event. Maybe we'll see what they look like for the finals. I'd like to see them do a little bit of a more of a pre-show, interview the bowlers. I mean, really try to make it an event, this finals. And I don't see any kind of marketing. I don't see any kind of advertising. I just don't see it. And it just kind of still bothers me that they don't really do a good job on that aspect of it.
Yeah, I actually made a note while I was watching the show that the PBA should run the player promo videos in Bolero centers like regularly. Like those should be something that you see playing in Bolero centers regularly, especially during leagues, during tournaments, things of that nature. Chris bringing up an interesting point, generally saying that Tommy Jones is likely going to be the dog in this match. I mean, Prather was the dog against Troop in this other match, and I thought that was definitely interesting. So Jones is going to be the dog in this match, and I agree, Chris. Like if you're getting decent odds on Tommy Jones, it's tough not to take that.
Yeah, but I mean, Kyle's undefeated in this event. He's defending champion. I mean, how do you bet against that? Yes, you take the odds 2-1, right? But
I was going to say
why there's 2-1, Mike.
Robert Hamilton, great point. I was going to say to counter that, I believe Tommy Jones won the Bolero Elite Series in this house, in the same place. So
yeah, but the Bolero Elite Series, come on, that's not even a tournament, man. What is that?
Well, I mean,
that's free money, is what that was.
You don't think winning $100,000 in a place, gives you a certain sense of confidence in that bowling center?
The Bolero Elite Series, come on, that's not even a tournament, man. What was that? It was like a circus. It was $100,000 circus.
Actually, Kyle Troop made the final of the $250,000 one and lost. So
free money for those guys. I love it.
Can you imagine being a league bowler who lucked into that $250,000? They'll never do that again.
Look, I love the fact that they're giving these players a chance to win all that money. Good, a lot of the players we want them to win the money. But to say he's undefeated bowling for all kinds of money because of the Elite Series, let's get real.
I just listen. I just always felt like if I had a win of any kind in a bowling center and I had that good vibe walking in, that it at times gave me confidence, helped me bowl better, especially as opposed to having a bad experience in a bowling center, and feeling like you had the bad vibe walking in. So it's just a counterpoint to what you were saying. So it sounds like you'd be pretty heavily on Kyle Troop in this match.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's a real good chance that they're giving me even money on Kyle.
Okay.
I'm really hoping that the bettors or the people setting the odds aren't looking, all they're looking as Tommy Jones being a Hall of Famer and these titles, and they look at his name. And I'm really hoping I get even money on Kyle, because I'll throw money on Kyle. There's no doubt in my mind.
All right, so Rob, that's going to be a wrap on our PBA playoffs talk for this week. Obviously, we'll be watching the final this weekend. I'll probably have to catch this one taped again. I got a dance competition for the girls in AC this weekend.
Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is that going to be on Big Fox? I would imagine Big Fox.
Yeah, Big Fox.
Which is a great. First, let me. Last week was a shitty time slot, okay, because it was Mother's Day, and a lot of people were out celebrating their wives and their mothers. Rightly, they should be doing that. But if this Sunday for the finals, I don't think there's really anything going on at that time slot that is really worth noting. Maybe some playoff basketball, but like, what a good time slot for a finals for a $100,000 event, a Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it's a really good time slot for bowling. If there's nothing going on.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Rob. One more quick topic of conversation here before we bring on Greg Tack, not only for his tournament review, but also we're gonna.
On Greg Tack events, real quick, before he could defend himself.
What, you got word on the street? You got word on the street, Rob?
Word on the street is his events are getting soft. The shots getting soft. I heard there was an 830 or something on his shot. Man, I'm gonna have to bust his balls a little bit. I hear they're walled up now these days, so we'll have to get him on and let him defend himself.
Man. Oh, man. Shots
I'm
fired.
on fire tonight.
All right, so PWBA kicks off this week, Rob.
Oh, yeah. I saw Brianna actually at the Performance Center. So I was talking to her a little bit about the tour. And it sounds like they got a pretty great tour lined up right now. They're all over the place. I mean, they go to Long Island, they go to Florida, they're going to Rockford, Illinois this week. They're going all over like a real tour should be. Instead of the men's tour just always going to Vegas and Reno. I feel like they're just going back and forth between Vegas and Reno.
They're going to be on CBS Sports Network for some live shows.
Good for them. Good, happy. But will there be betting, Mike?
Yo, that's the question I want to know. Can we get some betting on PWBA bowling? I mean, can somebody from USBC reach out to DraftKings, not Fox Sports Bet, please, because they stink. But can we get somebody like DraftKings or FanDuel
or MGM or Caesars?
Right, somebody who's like really got this down pat and get some betting on women's bowling. That would be dope.
Look, okay. How about letting people bet who live outside of 2 states? Okay. How about letting people bet like me, who's in Arizona, who could bet on anything else, or people in Vegas? Wouldn't that be a shocking event if they could bet on bowling in Vegas? God, if any professional bowling needs betting, the women need it more than the men. Okay. The women need to have more interest and more exposure and more people involved in it financially to get more people to follow along. And if you put live betting on for these shows, people will start watching women's bowling. And I guarantee you, I mean, it ain't going to blow the ratings out of the water, but it'll help. It's not going to hurt, right?
Agreed. Agreed. I would love to have it. All right. Well, good luck to the ladies. Safe travels to the ladies kicking off the tour. We're gonna try and cover it. We're gonna try and I got Bowl TV. We're gonna try and do some rundowns and talk about the tournaments. Maybe have some guests on, etc. So we're working on that. Yes.
Is Jillian Martin? Is she bowling on the tour? Do we know? Is she? Because I think
no idea.
To me, she's the person that the PWBA needs to have success more than really anybody on the PWBA tour.
Okay.
She could be eventually I would say Tiger Woods. I mean, I'm not going to go as far as say she's going to bring that much exposure, but dude, she's something else, man. And she's young and she's exciting to watch. So
no, it's gonna have to be a two-handed female.
You guys want to make a couple of PWBA player predictions? Ooh. Mike. Brianna, right? She's the reigning player of the year.
Well, the way they did it was so goofy. Honestly, Jeff, I don't want to give predictions. It was so goofy. The person who should have won should have been the Stephanie Zavala. She should have won. I mean, she whacked him. She should have won. So
you didn't bowl all the events.
I'm gonna refrain on that one, Jeff.
All right.
Okay. All right. Let's bring on friend of the show.
Hold on,
go ahead. Oh my goodness.
Sorry, I would pull up Nico's comment here, but I don't want to. I don't want to piss anybody off. Nico, you might want to edit that typo that you made about her at the U.S. Open. Just FYI. Okay, let's bring on Greg to talk about his easy shot events.
All right, friend of the show, repeat guest. Let's bring him on. Hear about his events. Greg Tack. What are you in your car, son?
He's.
So I gotta pull up some facts for Rob's little spew there.
No,
The
don't
average-
wait. Hold on. This is my show. Don't ignore my question.
Your show.
Are you in your car?
I am in my car.
Oh
I'm in my
goodness.
car.
Man.
I was just focused on that Rob Greg made him soft comment.
He hates it so much. I love it.
And surely, I mean, you're not going to be the one to pay for that. All the bowlers who bowl the next few events are going to pay for that comment. Scores are just going to be
love it.
through the lower roof.
But somebody did. Eric Cornog did whack him for a few games. No, what'd he shoot? What was it?
830, huh?
Yeah, he shot 290, 279, 278. It's the highest 3-game series in a row ever by NJ Sport Bowling by over 50 pins.
Rob, I told you. See, I said it had to be at least 40 pins as the highest series ever bowled in one of his tournaments. Okay, well, Eric Cornog, great player, first of all, local player, great player, lefty, bowls regionals, accomplished player. And what was the pattern, Greg?
The pattern was 29 feet, 23 mils.
That's a big set.
That's right. I mean, but lefty who loves to play the crack. I get it.
So word got back to me that all the East Coast players found out that Greg Tack, someone shot this big 830 set, and now they're coming out in droves to bowl next event because everyone thought they're going to be so easy that he's going to have like 300 entries next event because people think he's putting out a house.
I think I should put out a house shot one time and see how many people stay the next time.
Oh, see, that's funny. The opposite effect. I wish every tournament director had that mentality where they put out a hard, easy shot and people wouldn't show up. Good Lord, that would be amazing for the sport.
I wonder if that would have an effect that I would think it would, where the Chaco series did it, where they were putting out easy stuff and then they gradually got harder, but the bowlers stayed.
Okay. So, Greg, in the same weekend, you ran the Friction Marathon, which was the one we were just discussing where the scores were a little bit higher. Eric Cornog won that event. No, Jason Cornog. Sorry, he has a brother named Eric. Jason Cornog, who we discussed, bowled really well. He won that event, correct?
He did. Jason won it. It came down to the end of the match. He was the only lefty who made the final. And it came down to the match with John Fury to the 8th frame, and John had to go for it. Didn't end up winning, but he gave it a good fight. And the interesting thing about the title match is both players' feet were on the center dot sliding, so they were playing the same parts of their respective lanes.
Okay, and then the following day, you held a frictionless marathon.
That's right. We had 48 feet, 38 mils out on the lanes. 39.8 mils on the lanes.
That's silly, right? Rob.
Dude, I would bowl so bad on that pattern. I can't even explain to you.
You know what that sounds like, Rob?
Bowl on that pattern.
That sounds like the oil spill at the Youth Masters that we went through.
Oh,
that's what that sounds like. 48 feet with how many mils?
39.8.
Good Lord. Jesus, the ball be spinning. The surface, I can't even imagine the scuffing in surface pads that were going down that lane. People were still trying to probably play urethane too. That's the funny thing about it.
So it was a very rare instance where no one was throwing urethane, and we had it was not necessarily the people with the biggest rev rates that won it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because usually the people with the higher rev rates are not the most accurate. Honestly, they you need a little bit of area when you have that much rev rate. So it actually definitely favors the more accurate player on a 40 on not much oil, in my opinion, because you're just going to be probably trying to play like down and in, really just standing on 10 and just trying not to like throw it. I mean, essentially
until that spot develops, right?
I don't know if it ever would develop. Did it? I mean,
did a spot develop, Greg? Was there some hook out there by the end of the day?
There was hook, but it was the hook you don't want, where you get the ball right and you're throwing it so slow that it reads so early that you end up splitting. And
Okay.
Over and under.
If you didn't see it, it was over under type of hook.
Oh, the cliff.
If you didn't,
you miss left and the ball washes out.
yeah.
Oh, that sounds so miserable.
Ball stands up in the middle. The burn was awful. I'm surprised people would shoot over 200 on some of those, but they found a way to shoot. There were a couple of matches that had a lot of strikes in them with McNichol and Heckman. They had like 240, 230 match, and their balls are doing different things. If you miss like by one board, sometimes they're doing different things. So.
Okay,
Jerry,
so somebody in the
Jerry
chat
Johnson
is,
wants to know
is asking what the cut
score
was for each event.
So each event we had a final four. The final four, the final 8, and the final 12. We had 12 bowler bracket each day, and the first day we had an 86 plus to make the top 12. Which came out to about a 214, 215 average for the game.
Soft.
The buy was just under 229 average, and that was Saturday. Cut to cash was plus 23, I believe, which is just barely over a 200 average for 7 games. Then Sunday, the leader was plus 61. And the cut for the final, the top 4 got a bye. The cut for 4th was 48 over, and then the cut to the finals was minus 23.
Now that sounds like a Greg Tack tournament.
Well, it's safe to say where the bowlers these days are so used to bowling on friction that they have the equipment and they have the better odds of bowling better when there's friction. It's rare you see 48-foot, 39 mils these days on anything or anywhere. So people had to be accurate, and that's not where the game is these days.
Yeah, people when you put for lack of a better way to say, when you put all types of bowlers on very tough conditions, they make them tougher by bowling differently on them. So you move pair to pair, and it is a
shit show,
for lack of a better term, a crapshoot. Yeah.
Shit show. I mean, it happens at the TAT every year.
Yo, they put out a pattern at the TAT?
Yeah, well, they do. But what happens at the TAT is you're mixing it with a handicap, right? So essentially you have half the tournament or 3/4 of it is our handicap division. And then you have a lot more. You have scratch too, and you all mix it in. So you have a mix of any kind of handicap tournament in a scratch environment with the lane conditions being Kegel pattern. They're making the lanes 1,000 times harder, and the pair-to-pair cross when you're bowling at the Orleans or the South Point, which is a 60-70 lane center, is brutal when you're crossing 20 or 10 pairs every game. So that's what makes them so hard.
It's hard to predict. Wow.
Oh,
because you can't run down and see which style's playing here and where.
Nope. 10 pairs, 12 pairs crosses. Yeah, so that's why they're so hard. They could be easy one pair, and then when you get to the next pair, and you're like, Jesus Christ, what bowling center was I bowling in? I mean, it's just that's what it goes. Really, it's that different. So yeah, man, I get it, and you're right though. The bowlers do make them hard. That's why the professionals are so good at being all playing the same part of the lane and making the shot so much easier for themselves as they keep bowling. You know,
I think that was why. Yeah, Saturday was so much easier because they didn't really have a choice. You couldn't play many places but outside. So you're absolutely right. It had to develop that way, and not that it developed like a professional environment, but they definitely opened up. You could see by the field average just gradually going up as the day went on. But field average at both events were under 190 for the whole day. So I can't say that they were walled, despite what our man Rob thinks.
Soft
from the street.
I don't know where Rob's getting his information from. I
got the inside scoop going on in New Jersey bowling, sport bowling.
Greg, was the guy The last time we were in South Jersey for one of your events, there was a gentleman there who bowled backwards. Was he there again?
He was not there this time, but
Hmm.
I always reach out to him. I love seeing him and bowlers like him come out and bowl because they love the challenge. I love to see all different styles play, and it was really cool when he almost won a high game pot the way he was bowling.
Oh, I know. Okay.
I
We
was amazed.
have a segment here at Sweep the Rack that we do, and we bring Greg on, and we call it Deep Thoughts with Greg Tack, because Greg is a very deep thinker. Oh, did we lose Greg? Oh, geez, I thought we lost him.
It's like just the spirit of Greg Tack.
It's just his interior light going on and off or something.
Yeah.
So we do Deep Thoughts with Greg Tack because Greg is a deep thinker, and at times we like to think deeply. Mostly we speculate about, do drama around here, but from time to time we like to think deeply about the game of bowling. So here's the topic we have tonight, gentlemen, that we're going to discuss. Rob, you and I briefly brought it up over the last week or two, but we'll get a little bit deeper into it here. But I'm capping this conversation at 10 minutes, all right, because I'm exhausted. I've been working on my pool all afternoon, okay, and I am a human with a job, and I want to get to bed at a reasonable time, okay? So I'm going to hear thoughts. I want to hear from whoever first, Greg, Rob, whoever wants to go, and then I will have the last say here. The topic of conversation for Deep Thoughts with Greg Tack is this. Is this a prime time in bowling, in the bowling community, to start an alternative sanctioning governing body that strictly deals with the sport side of the game?
My deep thoughts on this subject are picking up the research side of the sport side of the game, educating people on the game, and it's actually something I'm starting to do with our organization. And bowlers are gonna have a couple of maybe not surprises, but a couple of cool things that we're gonna roll out on. The field average was this. The field started here based on people who responded to surveys. So we're going to take 2 surveys at every tournament and say, where did you start the day and where did you end the play? So our goal is to scientifically prove oil depletion and scientifically prove lane topography with data to back it. And I'd love to share that with the world. There are a couple of governing bodies that have their different purposes. The TMBA, the UBA, the PBA, and the USBC, the ABT. There are several of them that I'm not thinking of at the top of my head, but they all have their different purposes, and a lot of them are still sanctioned with the USBC. So I don't necessarily know what that looks like. I've worked for the USBC in the past, and I have a lot of respect for the people who work for them and a lot of respect for the organization. But there's definitely an opportunity to start picking up the sport research side and to really take an educational stance on the game. There's a lot of opportunities there to show people how complex our game is. I don't know if the sport does it justice right now, how anybody can play. And it's so dang technical. There's so much going on.
No. All right, Rob, you want to respond to his comments before I give you some time to give your thoughts here?
I think Greg is 100% right in the last part of his statement, where I don't think when I talked about it before Greg was on here about how the 2 levels of game are completely on the 2 different planets right now. Doing the interview with Chad Murphy came to light about really how much more they're on the business side of things at the USBC than they are worrying about the competitive side of it. Is that safe to say, Mike, in our interview?
Agreed.
I think we could agree on that point, where everything we talked about and, the competitive side. Now, would I like the USBC to maybe start? I don't know if it's something where you want to have a whole new sanctioning body, because I don't know anybody who would put time and money to have a national governing body that everybody would, say, well, this is, this competitive side of things, and this is, USBC's the business side of things, whatever it is. I think, though, there needs to be maybe a branch or a separate entity to the USBC that does focus on how to grow the competitive side of the sport, how to get the BPAA, the USBC, the PBA, and whoever else on how to grow the competitive side of bowling. I definitely think there needs to be more time and money and effort and marketing and advertising spent on that side of the game than the BPAA. Obviously, what they want to focus, and their proprietors, they want to focus on making money from their bowling centers. So I think there needs to be separated, and it needs to be expanded on. Yes.
It's got to be a money value to the game, and you've got to find it being valuable. There's so many opportunities that are being missed when you have people who bowl another house league in another condition, and then they go buy a bowling ball. What about the side of the game that people want to get better and practice and go into the center? I don't know if that's being incentivized right now. And if it could be, I think centers would absolutely make a buck for incentivizing practice, but I don't know if it is. I think it's just go out and buy a ball and you'll be able to strike a lot more. That's just my opinion.
Oh, you're 100% right. But let me tell you why you're both wrong. Okay. In what you said. You're both wrong in what you said, because no matter what governing body you want to mention, all right, with the one exception of the PBA, none of those governing bodies has done a good enough job of controlling the integrity of the scoring pace of the game. Okay? All those organizations you mentioned, Greg, some of them very good organizations, some of them I'm not that much of a fan of, but all of those organizations have allowed the bowler that wants to compete on the recreational conditions to have that option if they want to, right? What I'm talking about is another governing body, another organization that is strictly for those who want to bowl on the other side of the game, the more challenging side of the game. Yes, Greg, the side of the game that makes you want to practice, the side of the game where you have to educate yourself about what's going on out on the lanes, or you will not get better. Okay? The side of the game where honor scores really mean something. Okay? I've bowled my sport league on Tuesday nights for numerous years now. I've seen 1-800 in those years. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. And I do think that the timing is right now. I think that the timing is right to kind of create that fracture, create that split, and what I would envision here would be a serious grassroots movement, where maybe you're only talking about a couple leagues, a few leagues, a handful of leagues across the country that are identified and connected by the strong connections in the small bowling community. Okay, so maybe you have 5, 6, 7 leagues where through the connections in the bowling community, all these 7, 8 people decide they're going to run a league. They're going to sanction with this new governing body. We're going to choose what patterns we bowl on. We're going to certify that the patterns are the real, that they're the actual patterns, and then we're going to give out awards and things of that nature based on just those 7 leagues, even if that means it's only 200 people in the organization, whatever that means. That's the kind of movement I'm talking about. But that's what we need in bowling right now. That's what bowling needs. Bowling needs that type of grassroots movement to get more of these leagues out there, more of these sport opportunities out there to show people the other side of the game. Guys, do you know what happens? And Greg, you know what happens. Rob, I think you know what happens. Do you know what happens when people go and bowl the sports side of the game that are really into bowling, that really love the game of bowling and are passionate about it? Do you know what happens when they go and they bowl on the tougher stuff in most instances?
Yeah, it makes them want to quit. They get discouraged.
You think so? I don't think so.
Sometimes.
I disagree with you, Rob. I think that
Go ahead.
it depends on the organization and all the drama that goes with it. There are some organizations that I see there's so much drama that goes with it, it makes them want to quit. They get intimidated out of it. But if you do it right, they want to get better. They want to learn. They want to ask questions. And by the way, there has been one organization around Mr. Sweep the Racks, guys, that has controlled the pace and has won 308 years. And you're looking at the CEO of that organization.
Yeah, but okay, fair enough. But you're a tournament organization as opposed to a league organization, right? A governing body in a sense. But yeah, I mean, I think that your events are like a good starting place to find the people that want to do this, to find the people that want to be involved in a grassroots movement like this. Rob, I agree with Greg wholeheartedly. I think that people do want to get better. But Rob, here's what happens. They go too long without ever getting real help. You feel me on that? Like bowlers are kind of pricks in that way, where instead of trying to help the person and trying to give them advice and help them get better, they're probably just going to let them struggle and beat them and take their money.
Look, we talked about this in plenty of shows where the lack of bowlers finding the actual right help with the people who actually know what they're doing are very rare in the sport these days. You go to your local pro shop, and it's not uncommon for a guy who works the pro shop to not know really what they're doing when it comes to that side of the game. You know what I mean? Like, go into a pro shop and ask him, maybe you want a dual angle layout or you want your finding your PAP. I mean, you'd be surprised how many pro shop people don't know how to do that. So when you're asking in these local centers and all across the country, and you're telling people that they're going and bowling on these sports shots, if they're out and they're not getting the right help, well, there's probably not the people around them to give them the right help. They may be getting them false information.
But maybe part of the help and the information has to come from the actual governing body. From that actual place in the sport. BJ Mattingly here saying, I find the people that would join sport leagues are too spread out. I hear you. I think you either have to start small with a very small group of people and try and draw others in, or, perhaps create some sort of travel environment where people travel to different places, maybe less frequently than every week. I would love a situation like that. But Greg, go ahead. As the guest, we're going to give you the last word here on this before we get you out of here. So go ahead.
I gotta say that the pattern side of bowling has so many opportunities, and you could really show what the bowling ball does when it hits the lane and turns over. And it's not just the pattern that goes out on the lane, it's the gravity that's underneath the lane. And once we spread the word about all this, and NJ Sport Bowling is going to start to do a lot more research with this side of the game. I can't go as far as saying we're going to start our own governing body because of comments I've made previously on this segment, but we're definitely going to expand on the research that's been started, and we definitely want to include topography and lane patterns in that. We want to get people's opinions. We want to get people's data in terms of their lane play and how they view the patterns, and we want to get some ideas as to what does the majority of the field throw on 33 feet? Do they throw surface or do they throw polish? And what do the numbers say? I think bowlers would be really interested in that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the important information so much as what did the successful players do. Like, if you're going to take that information, you're going to attach it to the standings, then I think that's something that's like, okay, now somebody can look at that and learn and say, well, look what I did versus what they did, right? But if you're not going to attach it to the standings, then I don't know how helpful it is. And I don't know that the better bowlers would want you to attach it to the standings because you're kind of giving away the secret sauce to a degree there. But listen.
That's the rock and a hard place situation. But if you want the game to grow, everybody's going to have to give a little bit.
Okay. Robert Hamilton here with a profound comment. He says Greg needs to partner with the PBA with a pattern. The PBA needs a new pattern for these pros to bowl on. They are too used to the same pattern, no matter how many times they try to change them.
Let me respond here. The PBA knows how to put out hard patterns.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. Do they want to put out the hard patterns is the question.
Do they want to put out something very Greg,
no,
what I would love to see more research on, Greg, and your organization would be a good place for it, would be like trying to find a way to get the integrity of the pattern to hold up over longer amounts of time. Whether that means experimenting with the pattern itself, experimenting with different oils, whatever that might be. I don't know. I think that's quite a big issue in the bowling community as well. But listen, we're running out of time. We still have to do worst of the week. So I'm going to get you out of here. You're welcome here anytime. You could just text me and say you want to come on, and we'll come on and kick it. When's your next event? I know it's the Greg Roddigan Memorial, yes?
June 5th is that event, and it's a great fundraiser for a great man who was in our game, and he got me started in this whole thing. May he rest in peace. We've raised $4,000 a year for the American Heart Association, and if you would like to come bowl or you'd like to contribute, let me know. Thanks everybody. Thanks for having me on the show, you guys. It's fun kicking it with Big Mike and Brooklyn Rob, even though Brooklyn Rob will never show his face at one of my events because he's
don't challenge Rob.
Chicken.
Don't challenge Rob. Rob will show up and win one of those jaunts. I'm not even kidding.
I got my own issues right now in my bowling game. I'm working through it, but you never know when you see me pop in.
No, Rob got game, Greg. Rob got game.
I'll fly out to you, Rob, and run something.
Hey, come on out, man. I have the hookup here, so you could go to B3. We could run pot games.
That sounds great. All right.
String pins, though. So,
gentlemen, thank you very much for having me.
Greg, thanks, fun as always. I'll see you at an event soon. All right, Rob, let's give the people what they want.
Yes, sir. We're going to do it big tonight.
All right, you want to go? I want to go. Who wants to go?
Yeah, I'll go. Mine's a quick one, and it's just really funny. Big shouts to Daniel Cordero for sending us to Sweep the Rack Facebook. Our fans these days are giving us more worst of the week content that I could actually find, even though I find them every day. The sadness and uneducation of bowlers is funny yet sad in a weird kind of way. Worst of the week goes to Joseph Garcia from the Brunswick Bowling Fans. His post, and by the way, Nico, that is really funny, but Kyle's is funny like that. He'll make fun of himself. Real quick, his post. I have a chip in my ball, and it has a 4-year warranty. I'm pretty sure would that cover it for a new one? I can't, who should do worst of the week, Mike? Real quick, I'm going to go in a little small tangent here.
It's a dime. It's a bowling ball, not a diamond.
The bowling ball companies who deal with these people who are reaching out to them, like the customer service representatives of Storm and Brunswick, probably have a vault full of worst of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine all these customers that are reaching out to them to get new bowling balls or to complain about their ball not hooking?
Right.
The gold in the vault is amazing.
You just gave me an idea. We should be the one to call. We should call and and make some complaints. I got some serious issues with you people over there. Dude, I mean, I'm talking Jerky Boys style calls to some ball manufacturers.
I worked in the pro shop for a couple of years, and I'm telling you, some of the gold that you have working in a pro shop. It
was like I hung out in a pro shop for so many years, and it was just absolute hilariousness what people would come in with. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, that'll be a whole nother. I think maybe that'll be another like skit we do. Where we talk about customer pro shop stories.
Pro shop stories.
Yeah.
All right,
Mike.
Here's mine. It's from the Hammer Bowling message board. It's David Scribba. David, congratulations. You won Worst of the Week this week. David Scribba. Here's his post. Quote of the day. Bowling great is not based on how perfect you can throw the ball. It's based on how many mistakes you can get away with and still hit the pocket and carry. Find me a better overall ball than a 2.0 Black Widow. I'll wait here.
What is
first off,
people
David,
drinking the Kool-Aid,
first
bro.
off, I'm not sure that's the point of bowling. I'm not. I think you got it wrong there. That's number one.
I think so.
Number two, the 2.0 Black Widow. I mean, you're going to die on that hill. That's it. Like, out of all the balls ever you could choose, that's the one you're going to choose and be like, show me a better one. I'm going to wait here. I mean, it ain't going to take me long to get back with a ball that's better than that. I don't know, bro.
Die hard, man. He's die hard, bro.
All right, let's wrap this up. I'm exhausted. All right, final thoughts, Rob. My final thought is, who am I putting my money on this weekend? That's what I'm thinking about.
I gave you the golden goose.
I know. I was leaning towards Tommy Jones. I gave you
my thoughts. But what are the odds?
I don't know. I haven't seen yet. They probably won't be out for a bit, but that's what I'm thinking about. Who am I putting
close
my money
to even
on?
money on Kyle. That's where my money's going. I love you, Tommy, but sorry.
All right, no doubt. So that's my final thought.
Shout outs to an amazing bowler in this in the bowling world. Mr. 900 Glenn Allison bowled Mike 70th USBC event, 70, and to see him still bowling gives me goosebumps, Mike, because I hope when I'm that age I'll be able to still throw a bowling ball and still be alive. So shout out to
be doing
sweep
the rack. Will you still be doing sweep the rack? You imagine us 90 years old doing
90 years old, maybe. But man, to the person who bowled the real first 900, Mr. Glenn Allison, shouts to you. Congrats.
Recognize the man. How about that? Recognize the man.
That would be amazing if USBC would recognize him as the first 900.
Good final thought, Rob.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Mike. That's it. If you're listening, thanks for listening. If you were here with us, thanks for hanging out. We always appreciate the people that show up and chop it up with us. Follow us on social media. On Twitter, I'm at the 215. He's at BrooklynRob11. Hit us up through email. We've been getting a lot of emails lately. We love the emails.
Love it.
We try and get back to everybody. I personally love the emails that tell me how people are going and trying sport bowling based on listening to the podcast. It's amazing. Continue to reach out to us. We love it. Check out our website, Sweep the Rack Bowling.
YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook.
Subscribe. Come on. Let's go. Subscribe.
Help us out.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Rob, PBA playoff finals this weekend. PWBA starts later this week. We'll be back with the people next Wednesday to wrap it all up.
Later.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.